Hello there guys, and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today we are in Spain, in Tarragona, and we are witnessing the Kia EV Day 2025, the day when Kia launches its plans for the electric future that it has envisioned for its customers. And I'm going to show you the most important launches from this show. It's going to be a pretty quick video because I don't have a lot of time with the cars. As you can see, there are journalists from all around the world around me, but this is the new Kia EV4 Sedan, and I have to compliment Kia for having the brazenness to launch a sedan these days when everybody seems hell-bent on buying SUVs and crossovers. So this is actually a D-segment sedan. It's a quite big car. To put things into perspective, not everybody knows segments like I do. This car is basically as long as a 3 Series, and it has the wheelbase to go with it. So it's 4.7 meters long and the wheelbase is 2.8 meters. But compared to a ICE car, this one will have more room inside because it's built on an electric platform, and that means the wheels can be pushed to the exterior of the car. Now, you can also get a hatchback like the one next to me. That's 30 centimeters shorter. It has a more conventional look and a smaller boot. That one has 435 liters of space. This one has 490 liters of space. And let me show you how the boot opens. So the boot opening isn't that great, but I think you can actually store larger items in here, no issues whatsoever. And yes, this is an acquired taste in terms of design. I mean, look at this window over here. It has all sorts of weird shapes, and everything was done in order to make it as aerodynamic as possible. Now let's hop inside to check the space for a moment. As I said, it's quite a big car. The materials used are quite good, but this is a top-of-the-line model, so basic models might not get the exact same finish. I'm not really sure which part of this door card, for example, comes as standard, but I can tell you that this one feels really nice to the touch, even though the materials are sustainably sourced, recycled materials and so on. So we have soft touch plastic over here, we have fake leather over here, textile finish, so everything feels really nicely put together. Even this plastic isn't the cheapest you could find. We have heated seats in the back, a Harman Kardon sound system, and everything you could possibly wish for. Look at these seats. Let's hop inside. This is the amount of room you get in the EV4 Sedan. I'm about 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, and I have plenty of room in the back, even though the driver's seat is adjusted in my comfortable driving position. So quite a lot of space. In typical Kia fashion, we have a fast charger over here and buttons for the passenger seat to be able to adjust it easily. And we also have the comfort function. Basically, whenever you're charging, you can press a button. This seat will adopt a relaxed position, if you will, so you can take a nap or, I don't know, relax while the car is charging. It's not that the car is charging slow though. Since we're on this topic, let's talk about the specs of the car. So just like the EV3, you probably already heard about the EV3 if you're watching this video. This is built on the same platform. It's the EMP electric platform, global electric platform, but at 400 volts, not 800 volts, because this is more of a budget car. So at first, you get two battery sizes, a 55 kilowatt hour battery, small battery, standard range, and a 78 kilowatt hour battery for the long range version. You have an electric motor on the front axle alone. That's 204 horsepower and 283 Newton meters of torque. And that's the only electric motor you can get. And that can be hooked up to a bigger or a smaller battery depending on your needs. The range varies from 490 kilometers to 630, depending on the body shape and the battery you choose. And charging should be done in 30 minutes no matter what, because the charging power varies depending on the battery. The smaller battery has a maximum charging power of 100 kilowatts, while the bigger battery goes up to 135 kilowatts of charging power. But nevertheless, you have 29 minutes for a 10% to 8% charge on the small battery, and you have 31 minutes on the bigger battery. So that's on the technical side of things. You also have vehicle to grid, vehicle to load on these cars, over-the-air updates, highway driving assist, all the technology Kia has in store for its cars. Getting back to the interior, the materials actually feel great to the touch in every single area I touched this car so far. I know that sounds weird, but it's okay. The steering wheel might not be to everyone's liking. I know some people have said in my previous videos with the EV3, for example, they don't really like the shape, but the materials and the build quality is great. You have two screens up front, both of them 12.3 inches, and you have one in the middle that's an HVAC panel control, 5.5 inch screen over there. That allows you to control the climate control very easily. You have physical buttons over here on the dashboard for the temperature and the ventilation. You have storage spaces over here, and this adjustable armrest that allows you to actually store larger things over here. But what I like the most about this car is the fact that it's spacious and the fact that it is incredibly well built. So this is the hatch. As I already mentioned, compared to the sedan, the differences are very small. So basically they are identical up to this point. From this point onwards, the shape of the cars changes. This is 30 centimeters smaller than the sedan. So it will be easier to use around town, easier to park and so on. It's a huge difference. But the good part is that the wheelbase is completely identical. So when we hop inside the car, you will notice you have the exact same amount of room. However, this one will have more headroom compared to the sedan because the roofline is about 15 millimeters taller. So that means you should get some extra headroom. We're going to talk about that when we get inside the car. This design is a lot more conventional compared to the sedan. But I have a request, because I had the chance to talk to the man who designed this car last night. Very cool guy, John Buckingham. He's right there actually. He told us to take a moment, see this car for a few days, see it in motion, and then judge its looks. Because to be honest, and I do agree with him, the videos and photos don't really do it justice. I think it looks quite interesting. Now, the boot on this car will be smaller than on the sedan. We have a difference in length of 30 centimeters, as I already said. This one has 435 liters of space, whereas the sedan has 490. We have anchor points over here, so enough for most people. Let's hop inside, let's check the space inside. So as I said, knee room is absolutely great. The driver's seat is adjusted in my comfortable driving position, plenty of room, and unlike on the sedan, I have no issues with the headroom either. So 6 feet tall, 184 centimeters, I don't have an issue with the headroom, but the difference is very, very small. As for the dashboard, it's completely the same, everything is the same, except for the fact that this car doesn't have the buttons over here for adjusting the passenger's seat, but everything else is exactly the same. Same flat floor, same ample room, same pretty upright position for the seat. What you see behind me is the new Kia PV5, and it's quite an interesting approach for the South Korean manufacturer. I think this is their first fully electric van, and I think there's a lot of business to be done in this segment because a lot of car manufacturers are developing solutions in this space. Think about the Volkswagen ID. Buzz, for example. I loved that car. This one also has a lot of charisma. Let's take a look around. So the model you see here is the crew cab version, which basically means that the interior is split between a 5-seat configuration for the workers or delivery people or whatever, and a storage space in the back. Now, the PV5 is a completely modular car, so you can configure it depending on your needs. You can have it in this crew version, you can have it in a passenger version like the one over there with blue, you can have it for wheelchair accessible version, and you have a full cargo version, which basically has only 2 seats up front, and the entire back of the car is simply made to allow you to transport a lot of things. Then again, you can configure the passenger version with how many seats you want, and we can talk about 3 different types of battery solutions. Because this is a modular platform, you have 3 different battery sizes, 43 kilowatt hours, 51 or 77, depending on your needs. But if we're talking about a car that's going to be used around town, I don't think you're going to need more than 43 kilowatt hours, because from what I gather, most couriers and people delivering stuff, packages around town don't really do that many miles every day. But I absolutely love the design. Look at the face of this car. It's so futuristic and I love it. These are the high beams and the low beams, of course, and these are the daytime running lights. Absolutely brilliant. Another thing you should know about this car is the fact that it has a brand new infotainment system. Now, before that, let's take a look at the design and the build quality. Of course, this is a crew version, so we don't have great quality plastics because you don't really need them. You need them to be resistant over time, but we do have soft touch plastic over here for the driver, for his elbows not to be destroyed during his trips, right? We have a textile finish inside, you know, for you don't really need more, and the seat is adjustable in a variety of ways. Now, hopping inside, what I wanted to show you is this new infotainment system. This is completely new for Kia. It's based on Android, and it was created based on Android in order to make the car compatible with a number of IT solutions for deliveries and keeping tabs on the drivers and so on. It actually works pretty good. I think it's very clean, and you have a lot of options over here. Phone messages, access to a number of things, smart cargo, for example. So you can have a camera that monitors what's in the back. Vehicle diagnostics, which is useful on a utility car like this one, and you can actually include it in the Samsung SmartThings universe, app universe. So it actually works pretty good. The range of the car is said to be up to 400 kilometers, but of course that's with a big battery. With a 43 kilowatt hour battery, I think that would be closer to maybe 200. But as I said, for deliveries around town, I think that will be enough. Charging is done in about 30 minutes, no matter which version you go for, because the ones with the bigger batteries will be charging faster. We have 2 charging ports over here, a wireless charging pad over here, and some extra storage over here. So all the usual tricks we've seen on vans lately, and you even have a storage space over here, so a lot of useful areas. You have a huge center armrest over here, and look at this, you have a 250 volt plug over here, which is pretty nice. It's right here. You can actually power tools with it and everything. Oh, and another thing, the car has vehicle to load as standard. So let's say you need some power, you have some work to do in a certain remote area. You don't have to carry a generator anymore because you have vehicle to load. You can use the power inside the car's battery. And we even have drive modes, eco, normal, and snow. So quite an amazing van in my book. And I absolutely love it. This is by far the most impressive car on display here. And that's mainly because this is not a production car. This is a concept. This is the Kia EV2. And for now, this is everything we know about it. And it actually looks amazing. But the launch of the car will happen in 2026, the launch of the production car. However, I had the chance to talk with the designer of this car last night at the dinner with the Kia officials, and he told me that about 90% of the design you see here will make it into production. So what is the Kia EV2? It's going to be a small car, inner city car, electric car, that is supposed to rival the likes of the Renault 4 or the Citroën EC3. And I actually like what I'm seeing here. We don't know the specs yet, but we do know that this is a 4-meter long car, 4,060 millimeters in total, and we have a wheelbase of about 2.6 meters. So it's going to be quite spacious inside for its exterior dimensions. Most likely it will be built on the eGMP platform, and most likely we won't get these suicide opening doors that are absolutely stunning. And I remember the reaction of the crowd yesterday when they opened the car. Now let's talk about the specifics of this car. For example, the main goal here was to create a car that has a low CO2 impact on the planet. So they used a number of very interesting materials. I like this ambient lighting over here. It uses textile materials sourced from recycled plastics. It uses some sort of mushroom for this isolant over here and for this door card panel. So this material over here is actually made from mushrooms. This material over here is actually cellulose. So it's basically paper that was folded into this shape, and it's absolutely brilliant. And everything was done in order to keep the impact as low as possible. If we take a look at the seats, the material used over here is no different than the one used on the soles of your sneakers, right? So it's very soft to the touch and it feels really nice to the touch. This over here actually can be taken out. It's hooked on with magnets, and I'm going to show you right now. Check it out. You can take it out, put it on the grass somewhere, and have an extra seat for your friends. More so, this whole bench can be pushed back. You can fold the rear seats and you can push the front bench back to get a lot more room over here. Furthermore, over here in the seat, you have a storage space, right? You can open it. You can get this part over here, place it like this, and now you have an extra seat. Isn't that cool? And it's such a simple solution. The floor is done in a textile finish, and I absolutely love what I'm seeing over here. And look at this dashboard design. Absolutely brilliant. Done in sustainable materials, everything. We even have this transparent roof. I love what I'm seeing over here. The problem is most of it will most likely not make it into production if we're talking about the interior. The exterior, as I said, will probably be about 90% this way. But we don't know the specs yet. What we do know is the fact that it will have a starting price. That's what Kia told us. They will be aiming for a starting price of about 30,000 euros. Is that a lot? I don't know. I have to see the specs. I have to see what kind of battery it has, what kind of range, what kind of power, if it's a rear-wheel drive car, if it's a front-wheel drive car, and how much of this great interior will actually make it into production. But so far, color me impressed. Right, so what can we say about what we've seen today? There's just a few things I have to mention. You're probably going to be wondering about the availability of every single car here. Well, the first one will be the PV5, right? You see it in the back right there. This one is going into production in July. So depending on where you live and how fast the dealer in your area moves, you could probably have one of these by August. Then there's the EV4. The EV4 in the back right there will start being delivered in September, and the EV2, we still have to see the production version. The production version of the EV2 will be shown in January or February next year. It's still yet to be decided. So this has been my report from the Kia EV Days 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe.